The launch of a manifesto is a seminal moment in any party's general election campaign, and that's all the more important for the Conservatives. Behind in the polls for the last few months now, they've unveiled a 67-page manifesto which makes a sweeping range of promises on everything from personal tax cuts to defence policy to immigration policy. In the next few weeks, they hope that the policies that they have announced will help them regain the initiative and win the general election. When fighting a general election, all the major political parties put forward a manifesto. A manifesto, in short, is essentially a range of promises a political party makes to the electorate of things that they will do if they are successful. It can include pledges on everything from the National Health Service all the way across to business taxation. What's so important about a manifesto is even if there is contentious debates inside Parliament, the House of Lords can't block what's in the manifesto. It is the document, if a party wins, that civil servants and government MPs will work to in order to drive forward their own policies. For the Conservatives, this is a tax-cutting budget. One of the things that we've seen on the campaign trail over the last few weeks is that they're trying to frame this election campaign as a choice between a low-tax Conservative Party and a Labour Party, which they claim will raise everyone's taxes by up to £2,000 a year. The announcement in the budget to cut stamp duty, but also to decrease the rate of national insurance by 2p for everyone in work, will be policies that the Conservatives hope put them on that traditionally safe Conservative ground of being a tax-cutting, low-spending political party.
I think while there was some focus on business in the manifesto, in particular SMEs, the main focus is on support for pensioners, parents and workers. The most notable thing, of course, being the further cut to national insurance, but also a pledge to abolish the main rate of national insurance entirely for the self-employed over the Parliament. There was also a bit of stuff on childcare and child benefit with further reforms there, and also just a little bit of a recognition that the government could do more to appeal to aspirational homeowners. Well, I think it's important to bear in mind that many of the most eye-catching policies, such as national service, had already been announced earlier in the campaign, and I think the reaction to the manifesto reflected that. It's also important to note that some of the promises included in the manifesto were actually continuations or expansions on those that were put forward in 2019. Now, despite there being, I think, over £17 billion worth of tax cuts in the manifesto, there were some calls to go further and be more bold. But I think what's happened here is there's been a calculation to focus on policies that emphasise stability, continuity, and don't come across as too risky, particularly given the focus that we're seeing on costings, on numbers in this election. Well, I think the first thing is the focus on tax cuts for workers and pensioners. That's definitely a point that the Conservative Party is trying to get across. Also, the dividing lines that we've seen on defence and energy. But perhaps the most important takeaway from the manifesto is that there's an emphasis on stability, continuity, and sticking with the plan.